You're listening to episode 562 of the Father Bills Podcast. Welcome back. This week's episode is entitled Truth in Charity, given on the 18th Sunday in Ordinary Time, 2016. My brothers and sisters, this week's reading from Ecclesiastes, we hear, "Vanity of vanities," says Koheleth, "vanity of vanities. All things are vanity." I'm wondering if he's been watching these conventions in the last few days and weeks, the political conventions. Vanity of vanities. I'm like, oh, that's right. Click. Peace. Kind of late now, huh? From Colossians we hear, "Seek what is above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Think of what is up above. Think of what is up above, not what is here on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden in Christ with God." And finally, from the gospel, "Take care to guard against all greed. For though one may be rich, one's life does not consist in possessions." The message is one for the ages. It's one that we all need to ponder on deeply. For something to be vain, it is essentially empty, worthless, of no lasting value. This is very much related to the greed, which focuses our attention on things that are empty, things that never satisfy. How many have gotten that one thing that we so tried to get, and then once we got it, it just left us the desire, and we realize, and maybe we even have a guilt feeling inside, I really didn't need this. Due to our sinfulness, we have all entertained and acted on our desires for things that cannot satisfy. We've all entertained thoughts and words that are misdirected and will bear no spiritual or corporeal fruit. In fact, such words and actions may very well cause scandal to others, and it might be their point of leaving the faith. We must be all the more careful in our world today as Christians not to cause others to stumble while also sharing the truth in charity. So today, listen again and hear the voice of the Lord. Choose to be people whose love is full and not vain. Allow the parts of your life, your desires that will do you no ultimate good, those things that are arrogant, prideful, harsh, unloving, addictive, illusory, selfish, divisive, lying, impure, immoral, and callous. Allow these parts to die in Christ. Yes, it will involve some suffering, for we will want to hold on to them. This is mine, this is mine. But now is the time to do it, to let go. Now is the time to be set free. Now is the time when all the political and economic and violent parts of our world are so prevalent, we need to let them affect us. Do you know why the church exists? Do you know her main goal is? It is the salvation of souls. These things like greed and immorality and all the things that were mentioned in the scriptures are the blockage to the salvation of souls. But see, we've been given a mission, and it is the mission of the salvation of souls, and we are to then further this goal. To know salvation is to know the truth, and the truth is Jesus. Indeed, the world needs to know the truth, but it is not sufficient just to say, I'm just telling it like it is, all the while steamrolling a person over with arrogance and pride. We must pray to rid ourselves of any vestiges of vanity that can become a roadblock to the truth. This is not about being nice. And in fact, our Archbishop recently wrote an article about some people think being Catholic is about being nice. Well, actually, it's about the salvation of souls. His point is well made. However, I've seen people turn the Archbishop's words to justify their arrogance and their self-righteousness, to beat people over with the truth. That's not what he's saying. The Archbishop doesn't need anybody's help to exaggerate this truth, because the truth is found in charity. Charity. Something that we all need. Being charitable is important. Being sensitive to the situation of others is important. Listening and building a relationship with others is important. Journeying with them is important. Sharing our hearts and what God has done for us is important. But we do it in charity. We do it with sensitivity, but we do not spare the truth for it. Our world needs to know Jesus. 74% of Grants Pass is non-believing. That is a serious field to be working for. We need to let them know. Some of them have heard about Jesus, but it was disguised in a really mean, bitter Christian. And we're like, whoa, let us not be those people. Let us show the joy that's in our hearts. The world needs to know Jesus deeply, and actually so do we. Let us not be embarrassed or fearful for admitting our own our sinfulness. For by repenting, we allow Christ to shine through us. Be the first person to admit your guilt in front of someone, especially when they make a claim of arrogance. See, it is through our woundedness that we can help others heal. By leading the way and recognizing that we are sinners, that this church is a MASH unit of sorts, a place where people come because they're deeply wounded and need healing, and they receive it through Jesus. It is by our true love of God and our neighbor that we become people, the people that Christ wants us to be. It is by being beacons of light that we will attract others to the knowledge of the truth. My dear friends in Christ, much is at stake. Our souls. See, we've been given a job. We've been given a mission. But not just our souls, but the souls of others as well. Let us strive for the narrow way through our own suffering and dying to our own vanities in Christ. May Christ in the Eucharist be our strength, so that we may be conformed to the likeness of him who loves us very much. And so may we share the truth in charity.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of the Father Bill's podcast. If you want to contact me, there's many ways to do it, but let me just make it simple. Go to fatherbill.org, FRBILL.org, and there you can find all kinds of ways. There's an icon to email me directly from the webpage. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook, a whole bunch of ways, and I'll just leave you to the website to check that out if you would like to ask me any questions or have any comments. Now, next week, there will be no homily podcast to produce. I won't be around. I'll be on vacation. And so I just want to ask your prayers for safe travel and refreshment and renewal as I then come back and begin ministry in earnest again at my parish of St. Anne. Something specific I'd like to bring to your attention is a project that has been brewing for 3 years here at St. Anne, and that is the new church. We have been discerning how might we be able to renew the church we have now, and we realize that basically we need to start all over. And so we are in the process of beginning of a building campaign, which involves a capital campaign first. So that's where I really want your prayers to make sure that this is God's will and to encourage people to give generously and to make this project possible, obviously if it's God's will. And so that's what we want to do. And of course, that's step number 1. There's many other steps that'll follow, of course. But for now, if you could just send that to prayer, may God's will be done. And if it is this building project, that people's hearts would be opened to give generously so that we can make that possible. And until next time, may God bless you and have a great week. Bye-bye.